This is our first lecture in this series and we will learn today about Kerala. Let's start. Kerala is on the Malabar coast, having 600 km of shoreline along the Arabian Sea. It was formed on 1st of November 1956 and let's see, it is surrounded by which states? It is surrounded by Karnataka on the north and northeast and Tamil Nadu to the east and the south and the Lakshadweep Sea to the west. There are 14 districts in Kerala with Thiruvananthapuram as the capital. Malayalam is the most widely spoken language and it is also the official language of Kerala. Kerala having 9 seats of Rajya Sabha and 20 seats from the Lok Sabha. It has unicameral legislature and the highest elevation in the Kerala is the Anamudi. The sex ratio is in the favor for the females. It is for 1084 females per 1000 males. The literacy ratio of Kerala is very high, that is 96.2%, which is higher than the average of the India. Let's talk about the geography and the climate of Kerala. It has humid tropical rainforest climate. It has total 41 west flowing rivers and 3 east flowing rivers. In Kerala, there are total 44 rivers, so there are a network and these rivers, canals, lake and estuaries are interconnected, which is known as Kerala backwaters. The backwaters have a unique ecosystem. The fresh water from the river meet the sea water from the Arabian Sea. Mostly the rivers of Kerala are very small and they do not form delta. Western Ghat form a wall of mountains and it is only interrupted at one place, that is known as Palakkad or the Pal Ghat. Pal Ghat or the Pal Ghat city in Kerala is also known as the rice bowl of Kerala. As we know, when we go down from north to south, the height of the mountains or the hills in the Western Ghat range increases. So the Western Ghat rise on average to 1500 meter while the highest peak reach around 2500 meter. Anamudi in Idukki district is highest peak in South India. Let's talk about the climate of Kerala. It has around 120 to 140 rainy days per year. And how we will describe the climate of Kerala? It is wet and maritime tropical climate and it is influenced by the seasonal heavy rain of the southwest summer monsoon as well as the northeast winter monsoon. It receives its maximum rainfall from the southwest monsoon. As we know, when the southwest monsoon approached the Indian subcontinent, it divided into two branches because of the physiology of the Indian continent. Arabian Sea branch and the Bay of Bengal branch. Arabian Sea branch first hit the Western Ghat, making Kerala the first state in India to receive rain from southwest monsoon. The cold wind from North India pick up the moisture from the Bay of Bengal and precipitate it on the east coast of peninsular India. In Kerala, the influence of northeast monsoon is seen in the southern districts only. So from this point we get to know that Kerala has some special system of getting rainfall not only from the southwest monsoon but also from the northeast monsoon. Now talks about the rivers of Kerala. There are many rivers as we have already seen. Total 44 rivers are there, but they do not have so much large quantity of water and sediment, so they don't form delta. Periyar, Bharatpuja, Pamba, Cheliyar, etc. Lots of rivers are there, but the most important river of Kerala is the Periyar. It is the longest and the perennial river of Kerala. The source is supposed to be the Shivagiri hills in the Western Ghat in Tamil Nadu and the mouth is the Arabian Sea in Vembanad Lake in Kerala. The catchment area of the Periyar river is the maximum in the Kerala and a little bit in Tamil Nadu. It generates the significant proportion of Kerala's electricity by the Idukki Dam, so it is known as the lifeline of Kerala. Idukki Dam is the first dam of its kind, which has some special features, and it is known to be the biggest dam in Asia of its kind and the second biggest in the world. It was formed and established by the India and Canada's joint venture. When we talk about the history of the Kerala, so then a very powerful dynasty, Chera dynasty, was the prominent kingdom which was based in Kerala. Hinduism is practiced more than by half of the population of Kerala, which is followed by the Islam and Christianity. When we talk about the culture of the Kerala, it is a synthesis of Aryan, Dravidian, Arab and the European, because there was movement of the people from North India where basically the Aryans have reached there. From north to south, the movement of people make its synthesis of the Aryan people culture. Dravidian were the original people of the South India. Arabs and the Europeans were basically, they were the sailors, they were the traders who settled there with time. Let's talk about the economy of Kerala. From 1998 to 2005, around the growth rate of Kerala was 8.93%, which was very high in comparison to the national growth of overall India, which was only 4.8%. Kerala is a state which is known for its high human development index because it has a very strong service sector. Around 1/5 of the gross state domestic product of Kerala is received by the remittance of the workers, immigrants working in the foreign countries, basically in the Arab states of Persian Gulf. Let's talk about the contribution of the various sectors in the economy of the Kerala. Service sector, it gives majority of its around 63% of the GDP. Agriculture around contributes to 15.73% of the economy total and agriculture for 21.5%. It's mean we can say Kerala is majorly a service sector dominant economy. Let's talk about the agriculture of Kerala. 1/2 of Kerala, any half of the population of Kerala depend on agriculture for its income. In Kerala, around 1600 varieties of the rice are grown, and rice is known to be the staple food of Kerala. And the Kerala is also known for its production of coconut, tea, coffee, rubber, cashew nut, spices, pepper, cardamom, vanilla, cinnamon and nutmeg. Jackfruit is the cultural and the state fruit of Kerala. Around 97% of India's total production of black pepper come from Kerala. 85% of the natural rubber of India came from the Kerala, and all the 80% of the cashew nuts which are exported, basically they are from the Kerala, prepared in the Kollam district. Fisheries, it is the leading state in the fisheries production, and fisheries contribute around 3% to the economy of the Kerala. And there is a special phenomena which is known as chakra in Malayalam term. It is a peculiar marine phenomena in which the production of fish increase spectacularly, especially during the southwest monsoon because of the mud bank formation system. And it is only observed in the Kerala, in the coastal areas of Kerala. Kerala coastline, there is also a place in the Kollam district, Karunagapalli. It is known for high background radiation from the thorium containing the monazite sand. Now talks about the flora and the fauna of the Kerala. 24% of the Kerala is forested, and there are the different type of forest which we can see in Kerala, whether it is a tropical wet evergreen, semi-evergreen, tropical moist and dry deciduous, mountain subtropical and temperate forest. There are the three Ramsar sites in Kerala, the Sastam Kota, Astamudi and Vembanadu Kol. These are the three Ramsar sites in Kerala. And the protected areas, first of all, there is a Nilgiri Biosphere Reserve 1896, and it is the first biosphere reserve of Kerala. And this biosphere reserve consists of various national park and wildlife sanctuaries. national park like Aralam, Madumalai, Mukurthi, Nagarhole, Bandipur and Silent Valley National Park. Wildlife Sanctuary, Karimpuja and Satyamagalam Wildlife Sanctuary is a part of the Nilgiri Biosphere Reserve. If we talk about the area, then the Tamil Nadu, Karnataka and the Kerala, all these three states have this Nilgiri Biosphere Reserve with the maximum areas contributed by the Tamil Nadu. Nilgiri Biosphere Reserve is known for its significant population of endangered species of loin-tailed macaque and the Nilgiri teher. Around 80% of the flowering plants of the Western Ghat are found in the Nilgiri Biosphere Reserve, and there are the various tribal groups who live in the Nilgiri Biosphere Reserve area, whether it is like Bedagogs, Todas, Kodas, Irulas, Kurumbas, Paniyas, Adityans, Adanan, Chettis, Elar and Malayan. It is Agastya Malay Biosphere Reserve. It was established in 2001 and it was added to the UNESCO's World Network of Biosphere Reserve in 2016. The majority of the area contributed by the Kerala and then Tamil Nadu. It is spread in two states basically we can say, and it has three wildlife sanctuaries in it: Nayar, Pepara and Shenmundri, and it is known for its significant population of Bengal tiger, Asian elephant, Nilgiri teher, etc. And one of the most important original tribe which live in the area of the Agastya Malay Biosphere Reserve is Kanikaram tribe. There are various national parks in Kerala. It is Eravikulam National Park, Periyar, Silent Valley, Mathiketan, Anamuri and Pabadam in Idukki district. And there are lots of wildlife sanctuaries in Kerala. It is a Periyar Wildlife Sanctuary, Neyar, Pichi, Vajhani, Mutha Ganaga, Parambikulam, Pepra, Chimoy, Shenmundri, Chinnar, Eralam, Mangala Vanam, Kurunjimala, Karim Puja, Ranu Param Wildlife Sanctuary, which is proposed to be. There are the two tiger reserves in Kerala, Periyar Tiger Reserve and Parambikulam Tiger Reserve. And basically when we talk about the industries in Kerala, it is a core, coconut fiber, handloom and handicraft. 60% of the global produce of white core is produced in the Kerala. It is supplied by the Kerala. And mining sector contribute around 0.3% to the gross state domestic product of Kerala. Kerala was the first state where the first Infotech park was established. Kerala's state tree is coconut. The state bird is the great hornbill. It is known for its Hindu festival, Onam festival, and there is a story behind why Onam is celebrated. We will discuss in our another future videos. And there are the three main places which belong to the colonial period: Quilin, Kollam, Kannur, Calicut. These are the three places where the Western sailors, Arab merchants came and established, and the Portuguese came for their spice trade, and with time they settled, they formed their factories and they established their empire gradually. So these are the three important places belonging to the colonial period. Thank you. That's all.